Hi everybody, welcome to Willie's Guitars video series, and it's me, Willie, speaking to you now. Hey, I got a thing for Danelectros, and there's a lot of us that do. One is, you know, they're really good guitars for recording. They got a bright, crisp sound. It's probably the quietest single coil out there because these lipstick tube pickups are actually, these lipstick tubes are metal, and they end up shielding the pickup from outside interference. So they tend to be very quiet. They've got very flat fingerboards, and they're kind of geniusly made. This is one of the earliest Danelectros I've ever seen, and this is interesting because the camera will come up here, and this has a metal neck. So it's got a metal neck with wood sides, and this being metal, it also has something that is interesting too, in that it's kind of a micro tilt neck. So Danelectro came out with the micro tilt, which is basically a screw that pushes the neck up, and then you can get, just like resetting a neck, you can bring the neck up. So the metal neck, the micro tilt, was really Danelectro firsts. And these early Danelectros come in these nifty cases. This is probably about a 56 Danelectro. It's an unusual headstock. If you see that headstock, it's probably one of the earlier ones. A two pickup version of this would be a valuable guitar. This really isn't all that valuable a guitar. There are some two pickup custom color Danelectros that are valuable. The baritones are a really good thing to buy these days. And then we were the Jerry Jones dealers, and we're always looking to buy Jerry Jones, especially the odd non-6 strings, the 12 strings, the half-size 12 strings, the baritones, the basses. Those are things we're looking for, but they make actually decent acoustic guitars just sitting in the lap. So I'm going to do a segue right here. This we have, and I'm going to take this thing off. This is a Danelectro, a 60s Danelectro, and this was their answer to Tremolo. They had to come up with their own Tremolo design, and it's worth coming up on the camera to look at that. You can see it pivots, and this is a completely Danelectro vibrato, and they called this a hand vibrato. This is a 1961 Danelectro 4021. This is 1995, and they called it a hand vibrato, and again, really quiet through an amp. This particular guitar has a separate volume and tone stack knob. You know, they came out with that early on as well, and it's amazing how much Nate Daniels from Danelectro really, what he did for the whole guitar industry and teach everybody how to make things really economically yet super high quality. These don't have an adjustable truss rod. Why? They don't need adjustment. The truss rod in here is kind of massive, and it just keeps the neck in place. I've never seen a Danelectro that needed a truss rod adjustment. You'd have to go through a lot of abuse. You could refret an instrument like old Martins that have a truss rod, but they're not adjustable. But this, neck pickup. Neat little guitars. They have a really nice, crisp, almost Rickenbacker type response. There's really not much hum. Here, I'll turn this up, and you can see all the way up. That's single coil. That's really a hum-free experience for y'all. And cool little guitar, a 67 hand vibrato Danelectro. On that, I'll let you go back to what you're doing.